for joining our first MUG Woman in Tech group. We are extremely excited to be here and talk about the hot topic of AI. Before we get started, we want to cover just a few housekeeping items. So Courtney, if you go to the next slide.
Yeah.
We ask that all participants on the call adhere to the following rules. So no self-promotion or pitching of any kind. Do not contact people outside of the user group without consent. All information shared in the user group is confidential, so please do not share any use cases outside of this conversation. To ensure that we are abiding by Adobe User Group Code of Conduct, this meeting will be recorded and posted on Adobe User Group YouTube channel for promoting training, education, and future learning. If you do not wish to participate in the live recording, please feel free to watch the recording at a later date, which will be linked after the meeting concludes, and then send us any questions you may have with the emails provided below. We ask that everyone on the call stays connected with Women in Tech. We know this is our first one and there will be many more after this, so we just hope that you keep coming back, continuing to learn. In order to do so, make sure that you navigate to the Women in Tech site, create an account if you don't already have one. Once you have joined the chapter, you will receive notifications and reminders on upcoming events or any news. We also wanted to provide you guys with some other upcoming user group events. So please scan the QR code specifically on the right-hand side on the screen if any of these events stand out to you.
It looks like a lot of these dates are in the past, but if you want to see ones coming up, you can scan the QR code to see ones that are on deck for March.
As Adobe Summit is quickly approaching, we want to ensure that you guys are signing up for Marketo sessions before they fill up. Courtney is a speaker, so
is Stephanie.
So yeah, on that one, yeah, and Stephanie.
So for our session on Wednesday, March 19th.
But provided is a list of the Marketo sessions. So again, sign up before they fill up. And Courtney, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, and so won't spend too much time going into this because this is still part of the standard housekeeping section, but we did want to just take a minute to call out the new email designer that's now available in Marketo Engage. I think as most of this group knows, this is something that the Adobe team has been excited to bring to life for a long time now. It was first launched in AJO B2B, and now it is available in Marketo. And with this new feature comes some great tools actually aligned with the topic of our conversation today, but being able to incorporate generative AI into the email builder functionality. So now it's something where you can write in a prompt and actually have generative AI populate the content of the email itself. So you can obviously, as you see here from the screenshot, you can ask AI to rephrase it, use simpler language, change tone, and also do the initial drafting of the content itself. So lots of exciting things to come here. And we have Stephanie Simmons from Adobe who's going to go more into the overarching AI roadmap for Adobe's B2B suite of products here shortly. But excited to tee this one up. And this is something I was hoping we could chat through later on, just get perspective on how people have been using this and how we've seen it working so far. Also with this new designer comes the drag and drop email functionality. I know this is something all of us have been very excited about for a long time. It should make building emails much easier and much easier to customize it without some of the limitations that we've experienced in the past with some of the out-of-the-box templates. So very excited for this enhancement as well. And then content locking, so being able to make it more challenging, I guess, for marketers to go in and make rogue edits to templates, change brand standards, things like this. This will make it much easier to ensure consistency and brand templates. And then, as always, love to get reviews of Marketo out there on G2 as well as Trust Radius. Anyone has the time and feels compelled to do this, I know Adobe always appreciates that. And so with the housekeeping slides behind us now, let's move into the fun part. So as Megan mentioned at the beginning of the conversation today, this is our first Women in Tech forum for Marketo. And we're really excited about launching this user group. It's really intended to be a collaborative space where we can get together, share best practices, key learnings, and sort of push how we're using the platforms. I think this will be a great forum to get some of the best and brightest minds that we have here on this call together and continue that learning and innovation. And so this is just supposed to be an ongoing. We're probably going to have quarterly touch bases. Would love to get this group's thoughts on content for the next iterations of it. But this is something we've launched at Deloitte for a minute now because we have a few user groups. We have an Adobe Experience Manager, Women in Tech user group, as well as an Adobe Analytics. This is just our latest iteration. So very excited to have Megan help with this and have Stephanie here to support the first one today as well. And so quick introductions before we dive into the content. So I'm Courtney Tobe. I'm a senior manager in our marketing technology consulting practice here at Deloitte Digital. I've been Marketo user for many, many years now. I know many of you on the call, so I really appreciate you guys joining. And I'll hand it over to Megan Wolfe.
Hi, I'm Megan Wolfe. As I mentioned, I am a product owner at US Bank for a couple of our products within the B2B space. I have been in Marketo for a lot of years, too many to probably count, but I'm really excited to be here today and present.
And then Stephanie.
Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone. I am Stephanie Simmons. I'm a principal product manager working on Adobe B2B solutions, and I've been with Adobe for almost 6 years now, so excited to see you all at Summit if you're attending, and happy to speak with you today.
Awesome. All right, and we'll quickly just go through an agenda of what we're wanting to cover today. So first, just going through what's available in terms of out-of-the-box AI features in Marketo. Provide a high-level overview of those. Would love to learn a little bit more about how people are using those as well as part of the conversation. Then we'll pivot into Stephanie's portion of the presentation today, where she's going to walk us through all of the amazing AI capabilities that are outlined on the Marketo Engage and AJO B2B product roadmap. We're really excited about that. And then I'm going to finish it up today with just starting a conversation around some of the creative out-of-the-box AI applications that we're seeing with clients that we're working with, as well as some of the work we're doing internally at Deloitte. And that's where I'm really excited to have more of a informal conversation. Love to hear some of the creative ideas that you guys are throwing out there as well. And then we'll have some time at the end for Q&A.
Awesome.
Cool.
Perfect.
Do you want me to take this
Go ahead.
one?
Yep.
Cool. So AI, as you guys know, is a very, very hot topic. It's really changing and evolving a lot of the ways that marketing teams are thinking about doing things within their existing MarTech stack, and causing us to really push the boundaries of where we're trying to go. And so since this is a lot of new stuff being thrown at us, I would love to just get a pulse check with this group in terms of how we are feeling about AI today, how much of us are actually using it and incorporating it into the work that we're doing today, just so we can get a baseline. We can tailor some of the upcoming conversation to where we're at. And so since it doesn't seem like we're able to have people just come off and chat, maybe we can put some comments in the chat, or just raise your hand if you are using AI within Marketo today at all. Okay, getting a lot of, we're using AI in some instances, but not too much in Marketo, trying to figure out use cases. Yeah, Christina, would love for you to share some of those when we get to that section as well. But yeah, it seems like we're all in this beginning stages of figuring out how we can bring this to life and start to use this exciting technology and functionality within our existing MarTech stack. And so really excited to have you guys join the call today, because I think it's going to be more of a good brainstorming session in terms of, what can we start doing with some of the out of the box capabilities? How can we start planning for the broader AI roadmap? And how can we just get creative and have some fun with incorporating some AI elements into Marketo in a non out of the box fashion? And with that, Megan, if you would like to walk us through some of the current out-of-the-box AI features that you could start leveraging in Marketo today.
Absolutely. So we'll be going into more detail on slides to come, but I just wanted to provide a high-level overview of some of the out-of-box capabilities within Marketo today. So the first one is predictive content. So predictive content in Marketo refers to a feature that uses machine learning algorithms to dynamically personalize and recommend content to individuals based on their behavior, preferences, and characteristics. So the goal is to enhance engagement and improve the chances of conversion by delivering more relevant and timely content to each user. Predictive content automatically creates content recommendations for each person based on their past interactions and their profile within their data set. It also allows you to do the following. So personalize the user experience by dynamically displaying content that aligns with each stage in the buyer journey. A/B test to compare the performance of different content variations to help optimize content effectiveness. And then insights and analytics into how the content is actually performing for marketing efforts. The next bucket is predictive audiences. So utilizing AI and machine learning to enable you to target audiences more effectively and take a proactive step to reaching your marketing goals. So predictive content lets you track progress towards your goals in real time, predict outcomes for specifically event attendance, likelihood to unsubscribe, and then provide intelligent recommendations based on similar or historical programs to fit your goals. And then the last one, which I am very excited about, is the dynamic chat feature. So dynamic chat is a powerful chat interface. This is a user-friendly chat tool which allows you to engage with both individuals and account visiting your website. It enables you to collect essential information like name, contact details, free text, making it very valuable for a lead generation tool. And additionally, site visitors can easily book meetings with the chat feature with your sales team, gets question answered within a timely manner. So we'll now do a deep dive into predictive content. So Marketo Content AI recommends specific pieces of content that are most likely to resonate with each visitor. This level of personalization helps marketers optimize content discovery, engage target audience segmentation, and increase conversion rate. Within Marketo, there are 3 specific areas that we wanted to cover today on how you could actually utilize predictive content within the tool. So the first one is predictive content within emails. So it's a tailored experience for each customer with 1 or more images in the email to make each email uniquely engaging for the customer, simply by just clicking the desired image and selecting enable content. So you can see that on the upper right-hand side within the presentation. The next is predictive content for web-rich media. So engaging web visitors with the most relevant content for them, leveraging predictive analytics and machine learning, leveling up content with the text description and images, and embedding predictive content recommendations on your website specifically. Again, you can see the example on the right-hand side. And then the last way you can use predictive content is through the recommendation bar. So leveraging the content recommendation engine to present web visitors with content recommendations in a bar at the top of the web page, and the content is chosen by predictive analytics and machine learning. So just in summary, working with predictive content in Marketo really allows marketers to deliver dynamic content recommendations, optimize email campaigns, and utilize the recommendation bar to enhance the customer journey. And just in conclusion, with the predictive content, it holds immense potential for marketing strategy. By leveraging the power of data and analytics, Marketo enables businesses to deliver personalized and targeted content that resonates with their audiences. The benefits of using predictive content is numerous, from engaging customer engagement, and then improving conversion rate, which will help improve ROI.
I see there are a few questions in the chat. Maybe we can just run through those quickly while we're on the topic of predictive content. So the first question, does Marketo pull from selected images in Design Studio to differentiate per person? So my understanding, and Stephanie might need you to chime in here on some of these as well, but I believe that predictive content is an additional add-on feature within Marketo. And as you can see this window here, like you would actually have to go into the predictive content module to build out the basically areas where it would populate within the email itself. So you can see like you would have to build out your image name, where you want to enable the predictive content and do that setup in the additional section of Marketo that would be enabled once you had predictive content. Stephanie, can you validate that?
Yeah, so actually, it depends on what package of Marketo you purchase.
Okay.
If you are on the Prime or Ultimate package, predictive content is included, as well as the Select. So actually, this is a little bit new. So all packages now have predictive content.
Okay.
And then predictive audiences is only the Prime and Ultimate package at this time.
Gotcha. Another question that follows, let's see. Does your content have to be hosted in Marketo? What are the prerequisites? Do you want to take that one too, Stephanie? I do believe it has to be hosted in Marketo.
Yeah, I believe so as well.
That is correct. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, the next question. Does predictive content work with Gen Studio for media asset generation, not just from existing content? Let's see. I do not know the answer for that one. We can take this and get back to you, Mary Alice, though, unless Stephanie or Megan know.
I am not aware, but I can definitely follow up on that.
Okay. And then, okay, so how is predictive content in emails different than snippets and dynamic content? Snippets and dynamic content, well, let's start with dynamic content. You would have to build out dynamic content and tie that to a segmentation within Marketo. So you're only really able to tailor the personalization aspect to a specific segment and the different segmentations that you have, to a specific segmentation and the different segments that you have part of that segmentation. Whereas my understanding is predictive content, you can tailor it more so based off of the model that you have set up. And Megan, Stephanie, not sure if you have any additional details there.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I feel like segments and snippets specifically are just kind of set it and forget it, where the predictive content is always running on the model and changing based on what the user is doing and the interactions they're taking on the website within your other marketing tactics specifically.
Yep. And then Jenny has a question. How do you report on predictive content? Who was shown what? When were they shown it? And why were they shown it? And can you report at scale? Stephanie, do you know that one?
Unfortunately, I do not, so I can follow up with that.
Okay. Well. Yeah, I don't think, I think that the reporting would have to happen within the module, just because I don't think that that gets pulled into the analytics section of Marketo from my knowledge. But Jenny will definitely take that one and get back to you.
Yeah, and Jenny, from that one, you can report on it within, as Courtney mentioned, within that specific module within Marketo. You can also report within the analytics, but it's not as specific. It's more just general reporting, as you know, that Marketo offers. So you're more likely to do the reporting within the actual predictive content module within Marketo itself to really drill down on how the content was performing across the different segmentations or marketing tactics that you're specifically launching.
Awesome. Thank you all for all the questions. We'll move now into the deep dive of predictive audiences.
Awesome. So the next out of the box AI feature within Marketo is predictive audiences. So predictive audiences, again, empowers users to achieve marketing goals by using AI and machine learning to target desired audiences quickly and effectively. Predictive filters are grouped in groups of AI machine learning filters based within your smart list, which are utilized within smart campaigns. So you can see on the right-hand side, there's a handful of different filters that you can use. Likelihood to attend, likelihood to register, likelihood to unsubscribe. And then you can also pull lookalikes, so specific individuals in your database that have a lookalike that you could pull into a specific program or a smart list just based on the criteria that you are using. So for example, like let's say you're running an event, you have the likelihood to attend, register, so you can predict that ahead of time. But then there's also the capability to expand that audience to lookalike members within the database, utilizing these filters. So for example, effective narrow down on an event audience with lookalike filters, or help increase likelihood of audience within your database. So you can see on the right, again, like I mentioned, the different filters that you can be utilizing within Marketo. You can also view the performance of the models on the Insight dashboard, which we'll see on the next slide. So I'll get into that on the next slide as well. And then you can check the progress of events. So with goal tracking and projected registrants, which will give you the projections within Marketo using those filters, as I mentioned, on the right-hand side. So predictive audience essentially helps you get the message to the person at the right time, just based on, again, the model that you have developed within your Marketo instance.
And just to remind everyone as well, I believe, and Stephanie, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is one that's like an additional feature if you had the Pro package.
Yeah, if you have Select, you would have to purchase it, but if you have Prime or Ultimate, it is included.
Thank you.
So as I mentioned, you can view the performance of the models within the Insights dashboard. So you can view the top contributing factors to the likelihood AI models, so registration rate increase or decrease, event attendance, or subscribers. So you can see your models running, again, the data quality, the likelihood within the model itself that is presented within the dashboard.
Any questions on this one? Okay.
Awesome. And the last out of the box feature that we'll be covering today is the dynamic chat feature. So dynamic chat in Marketo is a powerful chat interface that you can use to engage both individual prospects and high value accounts visiting your website. Dynamic chat not only empowers you to gather vital information such as name, contact details, but also offers the freedom for free text interactions, calendar integrations for booking meetings, and even live chat, making it very easy for a lead to understand your website specifically. So just some key touch points specifically is seamlessly engage with customers and accounts visiting your website, again, by collecting information that's relevant for you and your sales team. Gen AI in dynamic chat delivers personalized message for chat users by processing user preferences, intent signals, and past behavior specifically. Again, you can view meetings, schedule meetings for sales reps, making it easy for them. And then leveraging dynamic chat interactions for filters and smart lists to further engage them potentially within other marketing tactics based on what they're entering within the chat.
Perfect.
And Stephanie, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, and I just want to call out because there are some more questions coming in. Given the interest of time and some of the remaining content that we have, let's table the rest of these questions for the end Q&A if we get to that. And if we don't have time to address all the questions at the end, Megan and I will take an action item to make sure we get back to everyone with their questions answered.
Yeah, and I can assist with that as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah.
All right.
So we can dive in here. I'm going to share about the AI capabilities coming up on our B2B roadmap. This is just a quick note that it is roadmap content, so it's confidential and of course subject to change at Adobe's discretion, but we can get diving into it. So talking about some of our exciting innovations we have lined up, Our revenue marketing platform, you can really plan, create, engage, and sell all within that single platform. And so we've been kind of aligning to 4 primary AI focused pillars, some around journeys, some around content, some around insights, and around sales. And so this really, we feel, does, provide full account orchestration across multiple channels with intelligent decisioning, content-led experiences that are accelerated by AI. So you can help scale your creation of your core assets and variations, improve efficiencies with our AI insights, and enable targeted sales strategies with recommended actions, unlocking high propensity deals, and helping your sales agents as well increase velocity and give proper attention and engagement. So next slide. The first feature that I'd like to highlight is that soon, in the second half of this year, we will be delivering AI-assisted person journeys in Marketo Engage. So with this feature, you can create dedicated cross-channel journeys for your targeted leads, and you have the ability to add actions and events on people-level audiences created either in Marketo or the real-time customer data platform of Adobe's, based on unified profile data. So you can intelligently automate your person journeys at scale. You can leverage AI-powered decisioning across your go-to-market motions. We have this intuitive visual UI to help you build and orchestrate that journey efficiently. You can manage your inbound and outbound communications across your web channels, including email, landing pages, events, and webinars, SMS, dynamic chat. So really kind of, again, bringing all those channels together and orchestrating that into your journey. And then leveraging AI at every step of the way. So we have an AI-powered content accelerator that can help create these deeply personalized content to engage your leads, and then also help you with decisioning across your go-to-market motions at every stage of the funnel. So hopefully this helps you get increased campaign velocity and journey progress, as well as, also provide you some performance insights and then additional more and more AI recommendations. So really just continuing to optimize on what we can deliver for you. The next thing I want to highlight, and again, that was kind of on that journey AI pillar. The next thing around the content AI pillar within Marketo, I'm just highlighting this because we did already talk about the email editor. We shared that, but I just wanted to highlight one other thing, and that is that we do have Adobe Express embedded in the new editor. So this really just can allow you to create new images and templates using AI and Adobe Firefly, and then also provides a very intuitive UI for flexible and instant editing. So just wanted to highlight that as well, our new email editor experience. Another highlight that I want to provide around content and data and insights is we have a new on-demand webinar experience that's powered by GEM. So we want to instantly enhance your on-demand viewing experience for your customers. So providing concise recaps and generated summaries noting key points, which saves times for attendees and boosts the content accessibility. Using engagement with video chapters, so you can break down long sections into digestible sections. And then also we provide through AI generated FAQs to enhance buyer engagement for these webinars, so you can provide quick, relevant answers to common questions, additionally streamlining the viewer experience. So using AI to kind of create this summary of your webinar to help you provide the content better to your customers. The last thing I want to touch on, which actually is both not only Marketo, but AJO B2B, because as you know, like the email experience or editor experience was first AJO B2B, and now it's in Marketo. We also are working on our landing pages and forms authoring experience. So this is going to both be across both of our B2B products. And we are planning on bringing Gen AI capabilities, but that's a little bit further out. But I did just want to highlight that this landing page and forms new authoring experience is coming, and then it will increase its value with built-in AI capabilities coming in the future. But you can use this WYSIWYG landing page and form designer, so it's easy for you to design these pages. You can have generative AI to optimize your messaging and visuals at each touch point. You can customize your forms while having a look and feel that's user-friendly and embed them into your landing pages, tailoring messages to your buying group members or your leads through Gen AI, creating those variations for you. And then We definitely all integrate this with our personalized tokens so you can easily customize these experience for your customers. That kind of brings us now into what I focused on, kind of some of the pillars in Marketo. We use the landing pages and forms to kind of transition also to highlight AJO B2B innovation. So I want to now kind of highlight some of those coming up, and then we'll take any more questions. But next slide. I want to highlight our new account insights dashboard, which is available now in AJO B2B. This dashboard can give you a look into performance of your buying groups and journey progression, and unlock AI generated insights for planning and help surface trends to optimize and prioritize engagement. It has 3 key features. The first is the first is buying group pipeline, but you can use these insights to overall analyze your progression of your accounts and buying groups in your pipeline for each go-to-market motion, and identify the bottlenecks in your qualification stages for those buying groups. And it can also help you identify and prioritize account engagement. We do provide AI-powered first-party intent for surging accounts. So you'll be able to say, hey, these accounts, they're surging right now. What do I want? What actions do I want to take next? And then also for contact coverage, we want to help you identify trends and gaps of members that may be missing in buying groups and so forth. So this can help you to prioritize your engagement with this kind of view into how your contacts are being covered. So a lot of great work here for data and insights to help you, kind of push your buying groups and folks through the pipeline. Next,
right, Stephanie, there's some background noise. I don't know what's going on, but just want to let you know.
I have no one else in my house, so I don't know
what's
going on.
I don't know if it's like your mic or what, but just wanted to give you the awareness.
I apologize for that. I am not sure what it is.
No worries.
So the next highlight that I want to around data and insight pillar again is our buying group discovery. Again, AI generated and recommended insights into your buying groups so you can help identify the key contacts and functions in successful closed opportunities, and then take that into future opportunities to make them successful as well. So you can get a view into your customers' B2B data, like opportunity analysis for the accounts, and then use AI recommended recommendations on how to compose your buying groups and what next best actions to take to maximize the buying group impact. The next AI generated feature and final one for data and insights is around first party intent based buying group assignment. This is already live, but I like to highlight it because using various intent signals from your contacts, our AI can help you build your buying groups, including the roles and assigned members. Then you can use these buying groups to experiment and accelerate your journeys. So just wanted to highlight that that is also very valuable. Only a couple more slides, and this is around our sales pillar. Excuse me. And the first one is around sales actions. So using AI generated insights to empower sales teams, we want to provide real-time data for more intelligent and timely engagement. Sales reps can take actions to include the right accounts in journeys. They can directly engage with accounts and buying groups with targeted marketing messages, and manage buying group roles and remove contacts from campaigns that are even initiated in Marketo Engage. So broadening that reach across channels. So really putting the power into the sales rep hands to take action. The next thing around that also is kind of in addition and in complementary of the sales actions is our sales agent. So providing an agentic approach to providing AI curated summaries, suggesting next best actions for your sales teams to take, and can even help with automating key workflows and tasks. With this agentic experience, it can notify your sales reps of important updates about stage progressions and high intent activities, and then give them those insights to make action with the previous slide, the sales actions, and accelerate their deal velocity. And then the final thing I just want to touch on is we actually are investing in a Sales on the Go mobile app where we want to keep your sales teams involved at all times with real-time information and alerts around buying group changes for targeted accounts, and then suggesting their next best actions to take. These alerts and insights can help sales prioritize opportunities faster based on the intent signals that I talked about a couple slides ago, while also providing these recommended by AI actions to ensure timely and personalized engagement. So as you can see, we have a lot of AI coming throughout the portfolio on both Marketo and AJO B2B, and we continue to invest in other areas and aspects. So hearing from you guys how you want to use it, how you do use it today will be really beneficial for the rest of this discussion.
Yeah, and Stephanie, I know a lot of this is going to be covered in a bit more detail at Summit as well.
Absolutely.
So really excited for some of those sessions.
Yep, demos, everything. So you can see it live in action. Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, and now moving into some creative, non-out-of-the-box AI applications. And as you guys can see, we've crammed a lot of good content into a short amount of time. Now that we've sort of laid the groundwork for what's available today that you can start using in AI, what's on the roadmap, now it's sort of the out-of-the-box part where we can, or not out-of-the-box, the non-out-of-the-box part where we can start to share some examples of how I've seen some clients and how we've started helping clients bring some of this to life in a creative way using some of the AI applications that they have at their disposal. So I'm going to start just by sharing a few high-level examples. Given how detailed we would have to go into from a technical perspective to really bring all of this to life, we're going to keep it more of a high-level conversation just to ideate on how you can start thinking about incorporating AI into your mix with Marketo. But we can always have a follow-up conversation if we think it would be valuable to actually bring in some of our architects, walk through how we're thinking about this and bringing some of these use cases to life on another call. And so for today, some of the key ways that we really see this come to life right now is one application that I think would be an easy one to start out with if you're just looking to like dip your toe into this world, is figuring out how to enhance your lead scoring and lead qualification models in Marketo by using some of the machine learning models that might be taking place or being brought to life elsewhere within your organization. So if you have a data science team, anything like that, most likely they already have these sort of models that are built out. But right now they're not being mapped into Marketo. And something we've helped clients do is partner with that data science team to use the APIs or middleware such as like Workato or Informatica to pipe that information into Marketo so that you can either use the broader output of those predictive or machine learning models to map that into a custom field in Marketo and really ground that for your overarching scoring. Or you can also figure out ways to add in those predictive elements into your behavioral scoring that you have set up in Marketo as well and further enhance that. So that's one application that I think would be an easy way to get started. You just need to start having some conversations with the teams that own those models, working with the right tech stakeholders to build that integration and designing how you would want that to map into your overarching scoring. Another way that I'm really excited about how AI could potentially make a difference in this space is in terms of maintaining a clean database. I'm sure every one of us on this call have struggles with duplicates at points in our Marketo database. And so something I've seen people start doing, and we've been brought in some conversations around, is how can we potentially use AI to identify and manage duplicates? And so this is really exciting idea of training an AI model to identify patterns that would indicate a duplicate record, and then using the Marketo API to merge the duplicate and continue to maintain the Marketo database in that way. To get to the technical setup of how this would all come to life, it would need to be a more broader conversation. But I think just the idea of like, this is a way you can start to apply AI and start to use some of those tools that you might have at your disposal, such as a chat GPT or something like that, where you can train a model to start to recognize patterns and then figure out how to bring those model outputs into Marketo via the API is a really exciting way to start to think how you can incorporate some of this.
I do want to add to that. I do know that on our side of the house, we are investigating ways to do this as well in product. So
Oh, that's
Let's see what
awesome.
comes. I don't know if we're announcing anything at Summit, but I do know that there are discussions and active, investigations going on to do this within Marketo itself.
Yes, which that's going to be ideal as well. But I know several of our Marketo champions have done some great work in this space. If you're going to be at Summit, you're going to go to the Champion Smart Bar. I think they've rebranded what it's called. But Josh Arrington is one who's really done some great work around using AI for managing duplicates. I'm sure he'd be happy to share some conversations around that. And then another one I saw, Mary Alice, you just put in there as well, but also using AI and training an AI model to identify bot clicks to maintain cleaner reporting within your Marketo instance as well. So I think those are just two examples of how you can start to think, what could I train an AI model on to be able to bring some of those insights and outputs into Marketo to optimize management of whether your database or processes that you're maybe manually managing today. Okay, moving into delivering enhanced personalization. So this is one that's more commonly known, I think, in terms of using generative AI to populate content within an email or within a landing page. As Stephanie mentioned, that feature is now available in an out-of-the-box way. But I've also seen some clients using ChatGPT and taking some of the models that they built in terms of lead scoring and lead qualification, and then using velocity scripting to bring some of those patterns that certain segments or certain personas might respond in a higher manner to a subject line tailored to them versus one that is not tailored to them. And so being able to use that information, pipe that into Marketo, and personalize the subject line is another example of how we started to see some of this come to life. And a lot of that would have to happen through velocity scripting to be able to do that personalization at scale and use the output of the model and the patterns that are being set up in terms of, predictive content, things like that. But yeah, this is another one that I think is very exciting. And then lastly, the concept of automating program builds. So I know Stephanie mentioned agentic AI, how we're planning on bringing that into Marketo, how that will be able to streamline a lot of the manual processes from today. This is some work that I've already seen people starting to use a tool like ChatGPT or something like that to, have a marketer go in, type, I would like to build this type of webinar program, working on training the model in terms of what that means, and then using the Marketo API to automate the build of that program, as clearly as it can, given the parameters around what that looks like. There would still need to be a level of manual manipulation within the tool itself. But just an example of how AI can really start to change the game and automate some of those processes. I know right now we're typically used to having the center of excellence, having a marketer go in there, clone the program, do all the build. But I think this is a really exciting way to start to think about, how can AI even further streamline that, and how can we potentially build a forum for marketers to just go in one place, maybe request some of these programs, and then have a marketing operations person make sure everything is good to go for the finish line to activate the campaign. But I think it could really change the game in terms of making it easier for that collaboration between marketers, marketing operations, and streamline and scale some of these builds. And Stephanie, is there anything you want to add there related to what's on the product roadmap from that perspective for agentics?
No, just a huge focus in it. Like I said, amongst those 4 pillars, having an agentic experience in all 4 of those pillars is definitely where our focus is.
Awesome. And so getting started. So as I mentioned, those are just a bunch of ideas thrown out at you in terms of where I've started to see this come to life, how people are starting to thinking about bringing AI into Marketo. So how can you actually start to bring this to life at your organization? The ways that I've seen it work the best is really starting small and identifying, 1 to 3 use cases, something like that, of where this could potentially come to life at your organization. And some key things to consider are, what is possible today? What technology do I have? What models potentially exist today? Maybe they're on my data science teams, breadth of work. Maybe we do have access to ChatGPT. What can I use to start to think outside the box and try to incorporate the AI elements that I do have into Marketo today? So once you've worked with the right stakeholders internally to identify these key use cases, I'd say the next step is really to determine the overarching AI strategy and the application or tools that are needed to bring this use case to life. So obviously the technologies that are going to be used are going to be different if you have a generative AI use case versus a machine learning use case. So you want to really map that out based off of what the overarching goals and objectives are of the use case, which types of models make the most sense, which tools do I need to bring into the mix, how do we actually need to build out a model if one doesn't exist, who are the right internal stakeholders we need to bring into that conversation, and really start to map out that strategy. Once you have the strategy mapped out, you have the right stakeholders identified, the right technologies identified, then you're going to want to really take some time to design the overarching data flow. Since this is a non-out-of-the-box application that I'm referring to, that is going to mean, a lot of the data and decisioning is going to happen outside of Marketo. So what is the right way to bring that in to ensure that we're able to associate the right information to the right person ID within Marketo to ensure that we're not, overwhelming the Marketo APIs? What is the right way to really build out that architecture and data flow? Do we want to use custom fields? Do we want to use custom objects, custom activities? So making sure you really spend the time to design that solution in a way that's going to scale and work best for how things are uniquely set up with your specific Marketo instance. And then additional layer from that, so once you have the overarching architecture design down, that's when you're really going to want to do the integration work. Make sure you have the right flow set up from the right platforms, whether you're going to go directly via API into Marketo, whether you want to use a tool like Workato or Zapier Informatica to facilitate that integration. Those are all decisions that you'll have to make. A lot of times we see a tool like a Workato or Zapier be a bit easier for these types of pilots because it does enable marketers to go in and be able to set some of the flow themselves, especially if you're trying to use a tool like ChatGPT or something like that, where they have those integrations already established. But yeah, those are all just decisions you'll need to make as you continue to try to bring these use cases to life. And then lastly, just this concept of launching, testing, and learning. This is the part I feel like that gets really excited, or that makes me really excited to be in marketing operations, is that we're constantly learning new things, having to evolve and figure out how these new technology applications can be brought to life in the platforms that we're working in every single day. And so use this as a fun opportunity to just test a few things out. Certain use cases, you might have to bring in legal and compliance if you're really trying to go in deep with generative AI. But in terms of database management and cleanliness and things like that, there might be ways you can sort of start small, play with getting something set up and try to start small and scale from there and continue to iterate and improve upon the model. So really just use this as an opportunity to push the limit, have fun with it, and really see what you can do. And so I'll pause there. I know we said we wanted to make this fun and collaborative as well. So if anyone else on the call does have any examples of how their organization has started to think about some of these things or started to bring these things to life, definitely raise your hand and I can make you a presenter if you would want to come on and share. Okay. It looks like I stumped everyone. No worries at all. We can just continue to go through some of the questions. So if you have questions about any of this content, please go ahead at this time, drop them in the chat. And I will also, yeah, I see Mary Alice, we went to with our legal and compliance implications. Yeah, that definitely is something to consider as you're looking to scale with AI. And it is when you're trying to formulate some of the use cases, that could be where you might be able to start more with some of the predictive modeling, if you're not already doing that, or figure out ways maybe such as like identifying bots or cleaning your database. That might be a bit easier to get around some of those. I know data obviously has a lot of legal and compliance issues as well, but let's see, my boss fed a file of contact us minus PII into AI to summarize so we could get a summary. And that is really cool. Christina, do you want to share a bit more about that if I make you a presenter? Okay, give me 1 second. Are you able to chat?
Can you hear me?
Yes. All right. We did it.
I don't know about anybody else, but finding use cases has been really difficult for people on my team.
Yeah.
We got a request. We just had a generic contact us form without buckets. So it was all going to a generic email address. And then some poor marketing person was stuck trying to send those to the right person. And so we were trying to figure out what buckets we would want to add to that form so that it automatically sent. And I spent all day in between meetings trying to categorize. I probably spent like a good 4 hours on it. And my boss came back right after I finished and was like, oh, I just uploaded it into ChatGPT, did like a download and then an upload, and it gave me the same buckets that I had spent all those hours on.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. No, that's a great use case.
Yeah.
Is that something you think you would have the opportunity to automate that down the road, or will you still have to probably manually dump everything into ChatGPT to get that summary?
I mean, it was a one-time project because now we know what the buckets should be, and we were able to feed those to the right person. Just do like a drop down on the form. But that's kind of why I've been attending a lot of these, is trying to figure out what other people are using it for to see if I can do the same thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a great idea because use cases are definitely something I feel like we see a lot of organizations struggle with in terms of AI, in terms of personalization. How do you bring all of this to life at scale and in a more effective way? And that's something, we could take as an action item, try and put some of those together and share that out with this group as some, starting points in terms of how you can think about bringing this to life. Awesome. Okay, let me go back and see if there are any other questions in the chat that we weren't able to get to. And thank you for sharing that, Christina. Okay, so I think this was related to predictive audiences. Catherine had a question. Is this tying into Marketo webinars and events?
Yes.
Okay.
I did go through and answer some of them, Courtney.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you got to a lot of them. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, Mary Alice.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I work in the financial services space, and my product owner for Marketo is also in the room with me.
Hello.
But like kind of the last slide you were talking about with the non-out-of-the-box items was really helpful. I think the question I have is just in general, we're aware of like the abilities of being able to do some of these things, but I would love to like have more deeper dives on the actual how and implementation. Do you guys know if you guys are ever going to cover more of these topics in more depth, or if there are other sessions like deep dives or coffee chats or anything that are going to be available around this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely have a follow-up conversation to go through a use case and walk through that in more detail of how you would bring this to life from a technical perspective. So I think, this is our first session. We were wanting to get an idea of the appetite around this and what types of content people were wanting to get related to AI. So to see the registration numbers we had with this and the people that joined today, obviously there's a lot of interest around this topic. So I think we could take that as a follow-up for one of our next sessions to dive more deeply into a use case and how this has been brought to life. And we can have some of the more technical architects who are bringing some of this to life on the call to walk through that.
Yeah, that would be great. Because like these first 3 buckets, I would say, are probably 3 of our biggest pain points right now.
Yeah.
So it's very relevant for us anyway. And I imagine other folks in the financial services space are also dealing with it.
Definitely. Yeah, no, something we can send out as well, since we have a good amount of people who were able to join the Women in Tech mug, is just a survey of topics. As I mentioned, we're going to be having these on a quarterly basis. We want to make sure the topics are really, relevant and engaging. And so I think we can send that out as well to get an understanding of what types of topics we would like to hear from people, and for the next set of sessions that we have.
Thank you. That's been great.
Of course. Well, I know we're at time. Thank you all so much. Really appreciate everyone who joined today. I think we got to most of the questions. But yeah, we'll send some follow-ups and we'll work on getting the next session scheduled, or maybe we dive more in detail into one of these use cases.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining today.
Oh, Laura, there you go. Awesome. Thank you all.
Yep, thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.